So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Q&A. Now, you might be going, hey man, that's a very nice pocket tee you've got there. It looks very supple, very velvety, and you'd be correct in saying so, because this is one of our early prototypes of the Gadzhi. You can see the subtle branding right there. Early prototypes of the Gadzhi core collection, which we still haven't actually decided on names for anything just yet. We're still a few months off from launching that. Literally just sent almost close to $100,000 for the preliminary stock for that yesterday. At the time of recording this, it is early February and we're looking to launch probably around mid-April or so. So yeah, that is the update. I've also been quietly wearing some Gadzhi pieces in different videos as well, and just not revealing, or at least I believe I have been. But guys, I'm so excited for this new collection. It is, yeah, it's incredible. The blue light blockers, like it really just goes to show that you don't need marketing, you don't need advertising, this, that. Like when a product is incredible, basically what's happening with the Gadzhi blue light blockers is like past 3 days, and keep in mind at the time of recording this, we haven't even thrown up any retargeting ads yet at the moment. We didn't want to do any cold advertising because obviously it was a pre-launch up until January. Now when you actually buy it, my team's actually going to process it and dispatch it the next day or the day after. And you know, if you're somewhere in the UK or Europe, usually you'll get it within 2 to 3 days, if that. If you're somewhere in America, usually you'll get it within like a week or something. But anyways, my point is, obviously we didn't want to run ads during that pre-order period, and we've only just now thrown up some retargeting ads. But past 5 days, Gadzhi has been doing 500 pounds. That's like $750 a day in sales, and that's just organic, and it's really ramping up. So I'm very excited to see, just even with some simple retargeting, what we're going to be able to do. Probably get it up to around $1,000 a day in sales for the Gadzhi blue light blockers. And then I would love to run cold, but we're actually coming very close to running out of stock. So I'm probably gonna have to put in another $100,000 worth of orders, wait a few months because the glasses take so long to make. And then only then can I start running some cold ads to it. But anyways, this year's gonna be super exciting for Gadzhi. Very excited for you guys to see the 5 or 6 pieces that we have launching with the core collection. It is the staple items in a modern gentleman's wardrobe with a bit of flair and quality like you've never seen before. So with no further ado, let's get straight into it. Thoughts on starting an email marketing agency instead of an ads agency with iOS 14? Could it be as profitable? 100% it could be as profitable. You can still do retainer deals. You can do retainer plus a percentage of performance. You know, it really is like an ad agency. And for a lot of early 2020, I was telling people this is a service that a lot of people should be doing more of. Most e-commerce businesses I know are very sloppy with their email marketing and really just eking out repeat customers from their current customer list through email marketing. Same thing with most info product businesses. They're very just sloppy with their automation, their backend, and just making an effort to email their list routinely. So this is 100% an awesome service to get into. That said, I wouldn't get into the service because of iOS 14, because I've said this to you guys before. I made a video about it. I think in a lot of ways, iOS 14 is actually better for us as advertisers, because I said it really weeds out a lot of the weak competition. I'll get Tristan to leave something right here so you can go ahead and watch that video. And that basically breaks down everything you need to know about iOS 14. But even with our client campaigns, we haven't seen much of a difference yet. And either way, we have around 3 or 4 different workarounds as is, using third-party trackers, using custom coding, and even just using the client's own backend system. As I said, this is all stuff we've been sharing with the copy-paste agency students. It's nothing to worry about in the slightest. So to answer your question, yes, it is 100% an awesome service to offer. And the reason my company is called GrowYourAgency.com, not GrowYourAdvertisingAgency.com, is because we have people, especially in CPA, who are doing $50K a month with web development agency, or are doing $100K a month profit with local biz ad agencies, or are doing $100K a month with e-commerce ad agencies. There's people in there doing $80K a month with email marketing agencies. We even have people in there with influencer marketing agents. So there are 101 services that you can offer, honestly. And this is one that I think is underutilized a lot, but your reasoning behind it, you really got to make sure that you're thinking in a clean, thorough way, and you're not, you know, jumping to conclusions for no reason. So that's the only one thing that I would say is, for sure, good idea, but the reasoning behind it, don't be rash in your thinking. Next question is, when you use ClickFunnels for a client or any other software, do you use the agency account or do you make them also pay for the software? And how would you convey that in the initial sales call or afterwards? So if you're running ads for a local biz, then I would recommend you use an agency account. If in our example, the only time that our clients need to create ClickFunnels is with InfoPro clients, we'll get them to create a ClickFunnels. And yes, I send them my affiliate link. And yes, I probably make $400 a month. There's probably like 10 of past and present clients who are still obviously subscribed to ClickFunnels. So, I mean, actually a lot of times they have the higher tier plan. So I I'd probably say I make like $600 just from, present and past clients alone using my ClickFunnels affiliate. So if you're running ads for InfoPower clients and you need to build something out in ClickFunnels, make sure you send them your affiliate link. And yeah, basically that's the way that we do it. Is any software we don't pay for, we send it to them. For example, ActiveCampaign or Drip. Once again, I will send them those softwares with an affiliate link. With some of our clients, we've been switching them over from ClickFunnels to Webflow in certain specific cases. Once again, I send them the link with an affiliate link. And I actually just changed the link for it to say iagmedia.com/ basically it's something called pretty links inside of WordPress, so you can make the link actually look nice. But anyways, long story short, for us at the end of the day with our clients, we recommend what we actually use and what is best for them. And by the way, if that means there's no affiliate program for it, obviously we don't care. It's just if a client's gonna pay that money anyways, they might as well support our agency in the meantime. So yeah, that's basically how we do it for our clients. As I said, if it's a local business, they probably don't want to pay an extra $100 a month for a software like that. So in those instances, I definitely recommend that you have an agency account and just do it that way. Next question is, what do you think about 5G and the electromagnetic radiation in general? EMFs are very, very, very dangerous. I think you really can't deny the dangers of EMFs. It is very bad to have this thing right next to your pocket, right next to your genitals. Now, I will say, I know it's super bad. And for example, when I sleep, I have like this 300-pound, like super, it was actually a bit of a waste of money now that I think about it, but one of my buddies recommended it. There's like this 300-pound super like high-tech EMF reader. So I make sure that I have no EMFs in my room or mitigate them as much as possible. For some people, it sucks because they live next to like cell phone towers and this and that, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, there's basically no EMFs in my room and definitely not in the area of my bed. So actually that is a lie. There are some EMFs in my room and there's certain things that like I know aren't ideal, but I live with them. For example, hue lights, obviously because it's connected to kind of the grid of your house and it's connected to your router. Those do emit EMFs, but I make sure that it's, the one lamp that I have in my room, it's far away from my head. So yeah, long story short, I am conscious of EMFs. Now I have people tell me, hey man, I see you use AirPods all the time, blah, blah, this. Yes. I use AirPods. There are certain things to me that bring so much value to your life that I know that, it's a little bit of a health risk, but for me, it brings so much value that it's worth it. And as I said, for me, when I sleep, I make sure that I mitigate as much of the EMFs in my room as possible. Also on my phone, I actually turned off 5G. I only use 4G. Haven't even really noticed a difference in speed, but that's just one thing I do. And in general, I'd say the most important thing is when you move into a new house. It's funny, when I was house hunting in London for the new place that I moved into last year, there's an app, I forget what it's called on your phone, but it shows you where the sun rises and where it sets. So I use that, and in every single house that I went to go view, looking at the new place to move into, I would look at that, and that would form a large part of my decision as to whether I moved in or not. And the other thing is I would actually walk around with my EMF meter and see how bad the EMFs were from house to house. I said that could be due to a myriad of different reasons, but this sort of natural EMF radiation in the house, I want to make sure that it was as low as humanly possible. So to answer your question, EMFs are very dangerous. I think they're, in 20, 30 years, we're going to look back at them and realize it'll be one of those smoking things where it's like, there was so much evidence in the 60s and 70s to suggest that smoking is dangerous. It didn't take a genius to figure it out, but it took decades and decades for people to finally catch on. I feel as though EMFs will be one of those things where it'll take decades and decades, but by 2040 or 2050, we'll look back and be like, oh, wow, yeah, we really f***ed up. So yeah, that's my opinion on 5G and EMFs. Now, I will say it's one of those topics that if I probably did more research, I'd probably be even more like wary and cautious. So it's something that I definitely need to do more research about. But then in terms of 5G, outside of its sort of EMF radiation, 5G is just the most dangerous thing ever because of the capability that it gives the government to spy on us and basically just control society. And once again, people are like, you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, go look at China. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's real life. And it's the life that the Chinese are having to live right now, where there's more cameras than there are people. And when you cross the street, if you jaywalk, they have facial recognition, they give you a civilian score, and your civilian score will go down because you jaywalked. And so yeah, people can call me a conspiracy theorist all they want, but quite frankly, they're ignorant and they get all their information from news and media. So yeah, 5G is very, 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 very scary. Very scary. And I'm sure it's a lot worse on the EMF side of things that I understand right now, because I said I'll always hold my hands up and say there's certain things that I'm know a decent bit about, but I'm not super, super well versed. So as I said, if I did a bit more research, I'll probably be a little bit more concerned when it comes to that. So the main thing when it comes to EMFs is really just, as I said, the way that the government's going to be able to control us even further with 5G. Very, very scary stuff. Next thing is, what are some of the regrets you have from earlier on in your entrepreneurial journey? For example, do you think you could have started earlier because you talked about how you were preparing yourself to become an overnight success, heavy on the quotation marks? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I stumbled into self-development weirdly when I was 14. I picked up my first book. I read Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Kind of you cannot get more cliche than that. And that kind of just sent me down a journey of basically for the next 2.5 years, I started side businesses here and there. I used to build up Instagram accounts, sell them. I used to take that money, buy Instagram accounts, rebrand them, flip them. And I did that for a solid 9 months to a year. Then I started personal training my friends' parents. And then I did that for a year. And then that kind of led me onto photography, videography, which is how I started my agency, because it was a creative agency for, the first 12 to 18 months. And that's why I still hold the name IAG Media for my agency, which I've been thinking about changing for years. But anyways, that's besides the point. Then that obviously evolved into an advertising agency. So I have honestly no regrets on my entrepreneurial journey. Just let me look at this question again. Yeah. Earlier on in your entrepreneurial journey, I started reading a book a week from the age of 14 to 17. I started meditating. At the age of 16, I've started experimenting with psychedelics. I'm not saying that you should do any of this stuff. I'm just saying I am so grateful that I had such an open mind. And as you said, I prepared myself for years and years and years before I finally found the agency model. And then by the time that I found the agency model and things started rolling for me in 2017, in March or so, when I went on that spree where I signed tons and tons of clients in the space of 35 to 45 days, and I ramped up to 10K a month, I had already been meditating for 3 years at that point. I'd been going to the gym and training for 3 years at that point. I'd been reading a book for 3 years at that point. So for me, I'd been preparing the vessel, which is so important. I was already disciplined. I already knew that it was possible. I had already developed the good habits. So for me, once I found that business model, things ramped up really, really quickly. So I guess my only regret from my entrepreneurial journey is not getting started investing sooner. Now, for me, the thing about it was basically I was building my cash reserves and I was waiting for the right things to invest in, because I didn't never want to get into anything blindly. But because the amount I spent on my lifestyle was so much less than the amount that I was making, for me, it made no difference if I spent $30,000 a month compared to $20,000 a month on my personal day-to-day living and lifestyle and this and that. Because at the end of the day, for example, last year, that was still a fraction of the amount that I was making. But now that I'm basically investing 80 to 90% of my income monthly, there's a big difference for me spending $20,000 a month on my living compared to $30,000 a month on my living. So yeah, that's kind of the only regret that I have, is I wish that I started investing a lot sooner. Now, that doesn't mean if you just got started, start investing, get 6-month cash reserves. After that, save 30% of everything you make and invest the other 70%. If you're below the age of 30, I would definitely go for a more aggressive investment strategy like that. As I said, where I am right now, everything that I make on a monthly basis, around 15% of that goes towards my lifestyle living. I build up 10% to build up my cash reserves even further, and the rest of 75% I invest every single month. Last question, what is your dream car or your dream watch? Now, here's the thing. I feel as though once I start driving and this and that, I'll start developing a dream car and whatnot. But for now, honestly, I really don't know. For me, it would be something like a Mercedes SLS original gull-wing door, something like that. I would imagine as a dream car. Outside of that, I don't really know, because it's a totally different game once you actually sit in a car and drive. Now, I spent 40-50 hours driving in various different cars, so I've got a feel for different cars, but I still have not taken my test or have my driving license as of yet. So as I said, I think it's totally a different ball game once you actually start driving and you know the differences between the cars and whatnot. But for now, just going off of kind of aesthetics or what I see myself in, I definitely see myself in McLaren. I could never imagine myself in a Lambo, so I see myself in a McLaren or a Ferrari as kind of a sports, or Aston Martin, 100% Aston Martin. As I said, probably more a McLaren or an Aston Martin. I see myself that kind of guy in terms of a sports car. And then outside of that, probably just having like a Range Rover, maybe a G-Wagon, still unsure how I feel about those, or a Bentley Bentayga as kind of like a day-to-day car. That's what I would imagine. But ladies and gents, as you guys know, I don't have a license because I don't want a car, because I don't want to spend money on a depreciating asset. As hard as I've worked over the years, for me, it still stings to spend money on a depreciating asset. That's why I love my watches so much, because I've made a good amount of money on my watches. And in 2020, I made almost 6 figures by buying and selling watches just as a hobby. And I'm not talking about like watches I get at retail, because those ones get chucked in my Grail collection that I'm never going to sell, because if I ever sold them, then I would just have to buy them back at retail price, which is just going to be a higher price later down the line. So I'm talking about the pieces that I get at market value, buy, sell, etc., etc. So as I said, that's kind of why I love watches. Now, in terms of my dream watch, luckily I already have it. Now, this is an example where I bought a watch where I actually understand the watch market. I bought it at market value and then ended up selling it for profit. So I actually got a Patek Philippe Nautilus, a 5711R, the rose gold version. I bought it 1st of September for 76,500 pounds. So, just over $100,000. And I ended up selling it 4 weeks later for 82,500 pounds. So, quick, easy $6,000 in 4 weeks. Also, by the way, that's tax-free because that's in my personal name and hobbies aren't taxed. My watches are not a business. I just happen to be an enthusiast who ends up making money on some of his pieces. So at least in the UK, hobbies like that are, as I said, unless you're actively doing it as a business, hobbies like that where you just happen to make money are not taxed. So that's actually tax-free income, which is another benefit. So yeah, that's a watch. And after I sold that watch, I knew that I would only have that watch for 4 or 5 weeks because of the market. And I just knew that I was just going to hold on to it for a few weeks. But ever since I sold that watch, man, my heart hurt. It's the only watch that I've ever sold where I'm like, man, I miss that piece so much. And luckily last month, I actually managed to secure one at retail. So that means rather than paying the market price for it, which right now is sitting around 95,000 pounds, and they're impossible to find. So that's around like $125,000. I only had to pay 45,000 pounds. So I saved myself 50 grand because as I said, in 2020, I built a bit of a relationship with Patek Philippe and managed to get one, which I was very, very happy about. So that is, I'll be honest, my Grail watch. The other Grail watch is a white face Panda Daytona. That watch I'm already approved for. They just need to get some stock in. So the next time they get stock at my point of reference with Rolex, then that watch will be coming to me. I actually have a platinum Daytona version of it, which is incredible, but it's heavy. It's heavy as hell. So it's not really a day-to-day watch. So yeah, one Grail watch. I already have the 5711R. I'm already guaranteed to get collection on my next one, which is the white face Panda Daytona. And really the last Grail watch that I have, which I'm actually working on it right now with my point of reference at Richard Mille, is the 3502. Now, do I think that I'll ever get that watch? Very unlikely. Honestly, very, very unlikely. I'm a tiny fish in terms of how much I've spent with Richard Mille compared to, their other clients. That watch is one of their hottest pieces. I said, I don't think I'll ever get that watch, but I would say that watch is the watch that would make me just, I don't know, like that watch is incredible. Yeah, that watch is just genuinely incredible. So the 3502, I would say is probably my other Grail watch, or the 1105. If I had to pick like a 3-watch collection as an example, I'd say probably that, the 3502 or the 1105. I mean, the 1105 I will never get ever. Like I will never get ever. They've closed the wish list for that, even for existing RM clients. So yeah, I'd say the 3502, which I'm working on, which I'm having lots of back and forth discussion with RM about. I'm working on. Do I think it will ever happen? Maybe 10% chance, but hey ho, you never know. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this Q&A. In regards to the Gadzhi giveaway, as you guys know, on every single video, I go ahead and give away a piece of clothing from the Gadzhi lineup. So all you have to do is, number one, like this video, hit subscribe and turn on the post notifications, because to be entered in to win, you have to comment within the first 2 hours of a video going live. And that's pretty much it. Just check back in the next video and you'll see who the giveaway winner is. And we'll go ahead and send you out a piece from our season 3 collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, look, if you enjoyed that video, I went ahead and picked out another special video that I know you're going to find immensely valuable. You can find it right there. I know you're going to love it, and I'll see you in the next one.